When it comes to bass fishing, catch and release has become the norm. This has resulted in excellent angling on many waters, but on some it's also resulted in an overabundance of stunted fish. To correct this problem, the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department has set special fishing regulations on certain ponds and rivers to encourage anglers to keep at least some of their catch. Waters with liberal regulations can still offer excellent fishing, and there's no better way to end a successful day than with an old-fashioned fish fry, especially when you know it's helping the fishery.
Where's he going? Where's he going?
Oh, I think that's going to be another perfect one.
That may be.
All right.
You got one?
Yep.
Kent Pond is actually a great place to take your family and your kids and go fishing, spend a day. It's right in the heart of the Green Mountains in Killington. And because of its surroundings in the Green Mountains, you're also apt to see lots of wildlife, bald eagles, common loons, even bears or moose moving through the area.
In addition to its scenic surroundings, Kent Pond also offers anglers the opportunity to keep a lot of perfect eating-sized bass.
All right, Lawrence. For the most part, we manage fisheries on a length basis. We set minimum lengths around the state to manage fish to provide quality fishing opportunities. Most of the time, we set a minimum length where we want to protect younger fish from harvest so that they live long enough to become adults and become larger individuals that will provide a fun and enjoyable quality fishing experience for people. He's 11 inches long. Gonna have to let him go. In waters like Kent and Baker Pond, we have some special regulations that we've set because through surveys, looking at the status of the population there, we realize that there's an overabundance of young, smaller fish and not a lot of older, larger individuals. So we want to shift the size distribution of that population. We want those fish to be larger, but when you have an overabundance of small fish, they can become stunted because there's not enough food. So we want to thin out the younger fish so that the remaining fish will have more food to go around and reach larger sizes.
There we go.
Got one? Is it a bass?
It's a bass. To achieve its goals on Kent Pond, Fish and Wildlife has established a slot limit for bass.
That's right in our range. Let's measure them. So to harvest a bass from Kent Pond, it has to be under 10 inches or over 12. You can keep 10 per day. All 10 can be under 10 inches, but if you're going to keep any over 12, only one of your 10 can be over 12 inches. This one is about 9 1/4 inches. That's really the great eating size right here. We're going to get a nice fillet off that.
If that was a yellow perch, that would be a fillet fish, so why not with a bass?
That's right. Bass are great tasting, especially out of a water like this and a size like this. They taste just as good as perch, there's no doubt about it. So this one's going on the stringer.
The standard statewide regulation for bass in Vermont is a daily limit of 5 fish 10 inches or longer. In addition to Kent Pond, Baker Pond in Brookfield also has a 10 fish slot limit, and there are several rivers with liberal bass regulations that have no length limit and no closed season.
Oh, that's a better one, Lawrence. That may be on the other side of the.
Yeah, he's going to be right in that.
Is he going to be in the wheelhouse?
I think so.
I don't know. I think that may be your 1 over 12.
If you're planning to keep fish, knowing how to properly measure them is also important.
So the way you want to measure them, see how his mouth is open? That alters the length. It has to be a closed mouth measurement. So you close the mouth, you tuck him against the head of the board, and then you want to make sure that its tail is not fanned out. You see how it's, it actually shortens it?
You want to pinch the tail.
You want to pinch the tail. It's always closed mouth, pinch tail. That's how the measurements work. It's just grazing the 12-inch mark, which means it has to be released. If it was 12.1, we could keep it. But it's 12 on the nose.
We would have gotten 2 nice fillets off of him, too.
He would have been, yeah, he would have had a decent, but that's okay. We're going to put him back. We'll catch more.
During our short afternoon outing, we released just as many, if not more, fish than we kept. He's not that big, but he's pulling hard.
He's giving you a good fight. Yep.
One of the big benefits of waters with liberal regulations is they're typically full of fish.
Oh, I bet it might be your 13-incher.
He's going to be close.
It's over by 1/8 of an inch. See that?
Just so barely.
See that? You could come out here in a canoe with your kids with a worm and a bobber and quite honestly catch fish all day long. And whether it's bass or sunfish, the kids will just have a blast catching fish.
There we go.
Oh, it's a leaper.
It's a jumper.
It looks like it's the right length too.
Not a fillet fish until he's in the boat though. We'll see.
All right.
Oh man, he's real
Look at that.
So he's just under, perfect size.
Just under, like 8, 9, 9.
All right.
Okay, let's put him on the stringer.
And I think we're getting pretty close, if not there, to having enough for a fine meal now.
I think that's a meal. Some of the fondest memories I had growing up with my father and grandfather was spending a day on the lake or a local pond and going out and having that enjoyment and the excitement of catching the fish. But beyond that, bringing them home and filleting them. My grandfather taught me how to fillet a fish, how to take the fillet off completely boneless. We didn't go out and catch fish, you know, in the 70s and let them go. We kept, if it was legal, everything we caught. Bass, perch, walleye, you name it. It was eaten if it was legal. And that's the way I grew up.
Once our stringer was loaded with fillet-worthy bass, we headed ashore for a pond-side fish fry. Thanks to Sean's expertise with a fillet knife, our stringer of bass was ready to cook within minutes. Using the technique that he learned from his grandfather, each fillet was completely boneless.
The most simple way to prepare fish that gives you really the true purest taste of that fish is to just quickly fry it with a light breading. And just lightly dust them with a mixture of flour, breadcrumbs, and cornmeal. Cornmeal gives it a little crispiness, and then put them immediately out of that dredging into a pan of hot oil.
Does not get any fresher than this.
I don't think you can get as good a fish meal in a restaurant as freshly caught and fried right on the lakeside.
After frying the fillets for about 2 minutes per side, they're removed from the pan. In less than 20 minutes, the rest of the fillets were cooked, and we couldn't wait to start eating.
You don't need to serve tartar sauce, you don't need to serve ketchup. You eat them just as they are, and it's a light, mild, flaky, wonderful taste that you're not going to beat anywhere. A little bit of fried potatoes and onions.
This fish is super, Sean.
Is it good?
It is crispy, delicate.
Mild, isn't it?
It's very mild.
Some people think that it's strong, too fishy of a flavor. But,
Not at all.
I mean, especially these 8 and 9 inchers that we were catching today, it tastes every bit as good as perch, as far as I'm concerned. That came out really good.
Excellent, thank you. A summer storm only added to the ambience as we enjoyed some very tasty fried bass. Although there's absolutely nothing wrong with catch and release, it's tough to beat the satisfaction of procuring your own food and the taste of freshly cooked fish, especially when you're helping improve the overall health of the fishery. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
I'd say he's a fillet fish.
The catch and release ethic has been kind of slowly building in the fishing world over 20 years. It's almost become ingrained in the psyche of anglers that, you know, you have to release fish. We actually encourage and want people to harvest fish under certain situations where we know that there's no impact to the population, provides additional angling opportunities with liberal bag limits so people can go out and not only enjoy the recreational aspects of fishing, but get that added benefit of keeping those fish, cooking them, enjoying them. It's healthy, it's high protein, it's good quality, wholesome food and good quality, wholesome fun.